I know, I'm very late. I'm sorry. I keep saying this in all the other videos, but in case this is the only series that you watch or anything, or you're wondering, yeah, thanks. Happen and we fall behind, but here we are. I've been trying to, or at least the initial plan was to, when I can start trying to catch up, go in order, which is what I am technically still doing. But I think I'm going to break that. I think I'm just going to focus a bit more on like the things I really am very much wanting to watch, and then we're going to kind of prioritize those, and then the other things where I'm like not loving it maybe as much as the other ones, we'll get into a bit later. I already kind of broke that with like Free Run being like one of the earlier things I watch, and I'm actually going to watch the next episode, episode 9. I'm going to watch that right after this, actually, just because I really want to watch it. So I think we're going to do the same thing probably with this series because I enjoyed the first section so much. I'll do this, and then tomorrow when episode 5 comes out, I'll probably sit down and watch that then and there, as opposed to trying to catch up on all the other things I'm behind on. And I think we'll work a little bit more like that. And then one day I'll just have to sit down and watch like multiple of some of the other series and just really catch things up, because things are kind of a mess right now, and I'm doing what I can, but life happens. So here we are. It's been a minute. I can't remember a lot. I think Emperor or whatever his role was or whatever, he came in and he has a request and he would like Mao Mao to kind of join him, or not join him, but they would like her assistance in something, and what they're going to use her for, their plan and things regarding that. I have no idea. I am interested. It could be good. It actually really could be, but it could be like really weird and bad. So I guess it just depends on the direction that they decide to drag this. And then Jinshi's gonna be, he's probably gonna be on our side for the most part. He really likes Mao. I wouldn't be surprised, if he helps us out if things actually go bad, and he's rooting for us that way, or if he's pulling some things behind the pulling some strings behind the scenes, and he's trying to give her this ability to kind of see her flourish a little bit more, because he wants to see that probably. So I'm excited. Hopefully we get something like that. Hopefully we get some fun moments. The last episode I kind of messed up badly and misread things through like translations and stuff a little bit early into the episode, and it threw me off for the entirety. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen here again. And I'm interested too, because we never know, I guess, through 3 episodes, the tone of each of them have been so entirely different that we actually don't have a clue, or I don't at least, like the direction that they might want to take this, because we could go very like funny over the top stuff like they did in episode 2, or we could take things like very serious the way that they did in episode 3, or we could just play around with it a little bit like we did in the first one. So there's plenty that they can kind of set up here and do. I'm also wondering if we're going to have a lot of one-offs, just one episode, build up like one little story here, and then we kind of come to a logical conclusion and then leave it at that, or if we're going to have like overall like big arcs that we're going to kind of get into, or even if they're not big but like 2 or 3 episode ones. I'm interested. A lot of times these stories typically are 1, and then sometimes they branch into 2, so we'll end up, I guess, seeing the way that we progress with that. This is a Toho show. Toho will be blocking this at some point. They haven't gotten the first couple yet, shockingly. They're gonna get this at some point. So when these ultimately do end up getting blocked, though, the reaction portion will be taken down, and then there'll be a link in the description or the comments if you still want to watch what I have to react to or anything. And then all I ask is you just come back here and leave like a like or a comment or something, and just watch it a little bit, because I pay too much money to keep them on that platform. Also, I just found out that apparently you could just upload videos like no issue to like Patreon. So I might be interested in starting to do something like that. It'll be free, like you can just click on them, but just so I can save my money and not have to pay for the other platform that I'm using to do these when Toho takes all my stuff. So if that's something that people are interested in or have experience in, and think that that's something that I can do, please let me know, and then I can maybe sit down one day and try and work that out. But yeah, let's get going though. Sorry for all the ranting with episode 4. Well, next, God, Mao Mao's so fucking great. I love her. She's great. It's very wonderful to have such a season of like great characters, specifically I guess with Freerin and then Fern and the other show, and then now Mao Mao over here, and they're all just so great and fun to watch, and I love everything about them, and it's she's so good. First, I guess just props to Aoyuki for doing, so good at what she usually does so good at. But really being able to ramp up and allow you to feel that emotion behind Mao Mao, which I think is what was intended here. And to while having her lose herself in a certain way, right? With the anger and everything that comes along with this whole situation at the same exact time, still feeling exactly like the same character and not making it feel as though we're kind of out of place, but it also hits really hard and she just does a excellent job. So very, very happy for her performance, I guess, so far throughout the show, but specifically within this episode. Really, really good one, and I thoroughly enjoyed this with the face powder being brought, of course, back up into this and how that kind of relates, because, of course, that's something that should probably be addressed again at some point. We can do that now, and we can readdress it later at some other point and use it. But using it in a situation now where it's clearly been brought up again that it was banned and nobody else can kind of use it, and there's a reason why we don't do that, and explaining it to people and just switching whatever methods and things that we use. Now having somebody who isn't fully aware to the extent that it can be. Maybe she was completely oblivious to it entirely. Maybe she wasn't. Maybe she just didn't believe it. Maybe whatever the situation might be, having those people who still continue to, find ways to try and get around these things and hoard these things or hide these things, as opposed to just kind of complying with, the orders of everybody else, willing to take on those punishments, especially if it is for somebody else. If something like this were to arise or to come up, not being able to believe in it. We see that all the time throughout the world nowadays, where there's plenty of things where there be scientific evidence or things, for them to kind of back up things. But then maybe one person says one thing or one person believes another thing, and then you have a bunch of people who start jumping onto that or having their own beliefs or going into it and maybe ignoring a lot of things. Or maybe they just do their own research, But a lot of times what happens is either person on either side will get very tunnel visioned into like what's so good about, the method or the way that they're thinking and what it is versus I guess what the other side is, and they're not able to kind of remove themselves from themselves and kind of observe, unbiasedly towards everything and then take in all the information and properly get it. And stuff like that ends up happening. So being able to have a situation here where we go into a thing where this girl is kind of hiding something that she shouldn't have anymore, and she knows better probably at this point to not use because it can cause things such as this girl dying at this point or getting extremely sick. It would make a lot of sense for them to actually go into because of course there's going to be people here who do that. Not everybody just follows the rules completely, which I think is a good thing for them to bring up. Now being summoned by the Emperor is also really cool, but weird and leaves me nervous in certain ways. I talked about it, I guess, a little bit throughout the episode, but it leaves me nervous because we could have gone multiple routes. This, so far, the vibe I'm getting is we do things within this series to make them turn out good outcomes, right? We overcome things. That's so far what we've kind of set up. Not saying that it can't, go bad and things can't get, bad in certain situations, but loss doesn't seem to necessarily be the thing that we're trying to present. We're trying to present ways that we can overcome loss and things like that, such as overcoming the loss of a child that we end up seeing this time, or the overcoming the loss of all the children that was happening early within one of the first couple episodes, right? And finding root causes for these things so that we can improve and never have to kind of experience or go through that again, and people moving on past mistakes and past things that have kind of been holding them back or becoming issues towards the society or themselves or their health or whatever the situation is. A big theme seems to be overcoming these things and just learning as well in the process, but also not looking down upon other people such as Mao Mao and her status and stuff, and just kind of putting your full faith and trust in them regardless of what it is that they do for you or whatever. Just kind of look at them evenly or properly as people and not as just a worker or whatever else that they want to look at them. But that seems to be a big common theme that we're kind of see, so it leads me to be interested if we would ever play a way of kind of playing into this where we, instead of going positive, going overcome, more so bring us down, take things from us and push us as far as we kind of can, or put us in a situation where things don't go well and then have the ignorance in a way of these other people come into play, such as the Emperor possibly could have been in this exact situation. We play a situation where Mao Mao gets sent out here to heal this girl and see what she's really capable of doing, and after however many months it doesn't work and she ends up passing, right? What happens in that situation? Does the Emperor able to fully see the picture here and understand properly not everything's going to work out perfectly? Sometimes there's just things that, well, we have plenty of ways that we can kind of cure and work towards bettering somebody. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Are we able to put ourselves in a situation where, or him at least, or anybody else in a situation where we are able to fully see that and still put our trust in this person because maybe they did see some sort of progress or they do believe in the thing that this person's doing? Or if Mao Mao had failed here, would we have put ourselves in a situation where he immediately would have done away with her? She talked about being beheaded or whatever else he might have, put her up to doing as a result to kind of pay for, I guess, the crimes in which that she did for being probably like a fraud or whatever that they would have considered her. Would we ever play into a direction like that? I wonder. And I would love that, to be honest. I love stories that kind of go into things like that. I don't have an issue with them presenting it this way at all and doing what it is that they're kind of doing, because I think it does make for very compelling stories and things that are a bit more, I guess, relatable in a way for people. It's a bit more, it impacts them a lot more because they're able to kind of see this and overcome like these characters and these things, they come against all odds in these situations, and it inspires them a little bit more rather than seeing somebody lose a whole bunch of things. But I would argue that the stories where you strip somebody of everything, and then you leave them with nothing and then have to see them kind of rebuild themselves or figure something out could also be more of like an inspiration in those situations. But I don't know, it's just a thought that I guess I would have. We start off our whole meeting and orders and stuff with the Emperor, which I just kind of got into a little bit and talked about, and then we immediately get Mao Mao thrown into the situation here where she constantly gets kicked out and looked down on by the other attendants here, because of course she would, right? It's fun to see the contrast of the original house that she kind of gets put into and how open, and how welcoming that they all were in that situation, and they almost pitied her in a way, right? Simply because of the scarring or the bandage in which that they saw on her, right? But also just whatever other reasons that they had, but they were more welcoming, it felt like. And these girls, right? They're all just angry with the way that they're looking at them. No smiles, nothing. There's no happiness going on here. They're taking what they're doing very serious, which is something that's going to go overlooked. A lot of people will probably look at this and be like, these girls are just being bitches. Of course they are. But at the same time, how would you feel if, you're looking after somebody that you feel extremely well and you've been trying your hardest to make them feel better, and then somebody else that you've never heard of that could be this potential fraud that, doesn't have this big reputation or anything besides these rumors and stuff that you've kind of heard of, just comes in out of nowhere and they decide, oh, this is actually how you should be doing it, and tries to change the way that you're going about everything and all the things that you've kind of built up and you've known, you probably wouldn't like it too much, So it's understandable, I guess, as to why these girls are acting out in the way that they kind of are. I really appreciate Mao Mao for not changing her level, I guess, her energy here, like at all, just kind of accepting it and realizing maybe if I just improve myself and improve the things that I'm making and presenting to them, and really work towards this, then they'll be able to kind of understand what I'm trying to do here, and that I am, trying to help and put you guys in a good situation and save this girl, like maybe that she could, and not kind of getting angry at them at any of these moments until she figures out what happens later with the powder, which is understandable why she does that. I love her interactions with this girl. I gotta look up her name. I literally don't know it, and I talk about her too much. Xiaolin, is that how you say it? Xiaolin, something like that. I'm not good with like all the pronunciation and stuff. Regardless, I love her interactions with Mao Mao, and I think they're really fun. I'm happy that they didn't stop now that we are here, which I think is really, really good. I talked about too, or I don't actually know if I mentioned it. So the weird thing is the detailing on a lot of the characters and stuff this episode, like, it was down like significantly from previous ones, which was weird. But oddly, it gave it like a fun little vibe to it. Like scenes like this when Mao Mao's kind of waving and stuff felt a little bit more loose, so it felt a little bit more like, I don't know, just the actual like character animation in a way, like the way that it felt that she was kind of moving and everything was more interesting to me when it was like this. I don't know, maybe I'm weird thinking that, but a lot of like the different stuff and the way that the fabric and stuff moved because of the lack of detail and the way that it was, felt a little bit more freeing for some reason for me, and I kind of didn't mind it at all, being that situation. They also make like a lot of like interesting, I guess, just direction choices, so it makes me wonder if somebody else was on this episode because of just a lot of the different shots and things that it seems like they're doing. I love how she keeps getting kicked out, so they constantly do this. It sets us up for like the gag later when they show us the door, assuming that she's going to get kicked out, but then we actually show that she got inside and nothing ended up happening. That was bad, which I really, really end up liking. She's working very hard here. She can't get close to the girl, of course. Everything's going bad. Jinshi, of course, he's able to kind of see that things are going wrong, and if he offers his help. I love this too. Like they all, love him, of course, when we've talked about that, but then when they see him with her, they're like, why the fuck is he with her? And then he gets really close to her in these situations, and it makes them like, even wonder more, what the fuck is her role? And you might want to look down upon her at that point, but also if you're favorable towards a person that he's favorable towards, it could also bode well for you. So figuring out the balance between that can kind of work well too. And ultimately it works for us being able to get up into the room, which is great. She ends up figuring out the situation as we're trying to feed her, and we wipe off her face that she actually has a lot of this powder and this makeup and everything on. Of course she does, because of course something has to go wrong in the situation. No wonder why she looks so fucking white. This is where we also see our first little flashback of her child that she ended up having, that she lost probably at a very young age, of course. And she holds constant regrets in there, and those are things that are going through her mind. I'm assuming that the way that they were trying to play that in the situation was to showcase in a way like, hey, she can give it all up now because maybe she's not deserving of kind of moving forward and being able to have another opportunity or something like that again, because she couldn't even take care of another life in a way, or didn't properly go about things, so why is she worthy of having her own type of thing. But I might be misreading that. They kept doing the different flashes and then bringing it up again, you know, is she okay, like is she able to even do this, and talking about that. So that's where my mind goes when I think of that, but I could be a little bit off on that. I absolutely love the complete change here, dynamic, the anger on Mao Mao's face, the voice acting and everything changed from Aoyuki getting more aggressive, getting a little bit more deeper in these situations, and just completely bitch slap on this girl, which is fucking wonderful, and I love it, dumping the powder on her head. Of course, she's been nothing but fine with these people kicking her out and treating her like shit. She's like, whatever, like she probably gets it, probably the exact thing that I explained before, why she gets it. But you put her in a situation like this, and you're fucking going out of your way to do something that I've made clear, you know, to other people, and they've enforced this as like a rule basically at this point, not to use this shit, and you're still doing it, which is poison, and you are trying to kill people. Sure, you want to enjoy that so much, I'm gonna fucking kill you in the process, right? Let me dump this all over you, you can die, you like this. I think it's so excellent, the aggression that she ends up having here, and the way that she treats this girl, I think is so deserving, excellent, and just great for her character. Scares all the other people, puts them in their position, puts us all at a point that we can kind of see what's going to happen going forward. She's going to have a very commanding presence over them, which I think is great. Shinji immediately loves exactly what he just saw, because of course he does. And she's like, oh fuck, I just showed him something I shouldn't. Also, you know, she lost herself a little bit in the way, because she's very passionate. She is caring of all these people and keeping them alive and keeping, you know, just her craft in a way, right? She's very specific about this, and she cares a lot. So despite the way that she kind of presents herself in moments, I've talked about that too, how she is very different, and very kind-hearted in a way. I like how at this point she just got to play into the role too and just yell at them for whatever it is. We're slowly able to do our little flash cuts here and be able to get through what's happening here, and being able to feed her until we get to a point that we're able to see her sitting up and properly eating. In these moments, we sentenced the other girl to being, you know, in whatever they said, she was suspended or imprisoned or whatever for a certain amount of time. The other guy got, I think they killed him or they did something, I don't remember. I think it was like the supplier of it. I can't remember. My head's all over the place. I love this too, and we give her these as a gift, and she's like, wow, what a guy, would be a great husband. And then she looks up and she's like, oh fucking Jinshi's here. Hates him completely. I love his glow as well, and his excitement when he gets asked something of her, because of course he wants to help. He loves her, which is great. You can see we start seeing her here getting fucking tired because she's overworking herself completely. We finally get some words and conversation, you know, coming out of our mouth here, which is showing that we do have a will to live at this point, and that it isn't just okay for you to die. Well, it is okay, I guess, because if that's truly what she wanted, she had the opportunity to not do any of that stuff. But because she continued to fight onwards, we're going to do everything in our power to help you continue to fight onwards, which is great. So we implement a bunch of things, which is really fun, and things start to go really well. The suspension gets lifted and we bring her back. This is in the moment where she can finally kind of understand that nobody holds real resentment for her. It's just a stupid decision that you made and you didn't fully understand, because of course you want to see this person that you care greatly for look beautiful and whatever else, right? But you gotta be fucking smarter in these situations. So she breaks down in tears, everything goes well. We get to see beautiful, you know, scenery here, and finally back up on our feet, and things go well. And of course we have to be thankful for Memo in the situation, which is great, because she was way too fucking tired in these moments. fun conversation again at the end with about the Emperor coming to visit, and how he's probably going to now. He literally made the order for you to come look after her, right? So he clearly has no intentions of giving you up at any point, right? Or being okay with you being gone or wanting to dismiss of you, of course. And then we start talking about, the size and using things to your advantage and stuff. I was wondering too, I was happy Mama brought it up, like where she learned all this stuff from, but I'm very happy that, she was from an environment that helped her understand that, because if not, and she just had all this knowledge, I would have really been like, where the fuck are you pulling this from? She's definitely got a complex, like for sure. She's definitely resentful of others in these situations, but whatever. This is great. This is a fun scene too. I'm just them playing around with her like that. Things ultimately go well. Everyone seems a little bit happy, and then we see some little flashes here at the end where they are throwing some stuff in this fire. I don't know what it is. Is this all the powder and stuff, or is this something else? I wouldn't be shocked, I guess, if this was the powder and it was like doing away with it, and then Buddy's hands get all fucking destroyed and burned and poisoned as a result. But it could be something else, and as a result, he fucked up his hands. And then we're gonna have to probably take care of him and get to the root of this, because he's probably not the only one with this situation, and that's where we're gonna end up going forward with. Great episode, love it. I think I rambled a lot more than I needed to today. That's really good, and I'm loving this show greatly. I'm gonna try and get tomorrow's done. Episode 5, literally when it comes out. I'm gonna try my hardest, no promises, but I would like to get back on track with these. So if I have to fall behind in some other stuff as a result, we're gonna take the hit. And you guys seem to like it. Also, thank you, I guess, to everybody for support on the first 3 when all of this came out, especially episode 1. Very, very, very enjoyable, and I'm happy that a lot of people kind of tuned in and hit the like and commented and everything, and it does mean a lot and gives me a lot more motivation to come out and kind of do these and just talk about them. So yeah, I really appreciate that. If you like this at all, though, hit the like and subscribe. Do mean a lot to me. Feel free to check out the other videos and channel, leave any comments about this episode or series. I'll be back for episode 5 soon, hopefully. You guys have a good one. Peace.